Welcome back, everybody. It is a new, fresh edition of Real Sports with me, of course, Colin Morris, joined today by not the master, but the great, the sir himself, Suge Knight. How are you doing, sir?
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Glad to be here. Glad to be able to talk some sports with you, man. I've been wanting to do this for a minute. Just been super busy with stuff, but now that I got the time, I'm here to talk some sports with you, hang out, talk about these playoffs that was crazy on Sunday, talk about basketball, talk about the NCAA championship. I'm here for all of it, man. I just want to talk some sports and glad to talk some sports with you.
Let's do it. Let's do it. And if the folks at home are unaware of your sports fandom, please, sir, state your teams for the people on the internet.
Well,
we just got to squash it all.
one of my
Just got to set the record straight for everyone.
yeah. One of my teams, you're not really happy with this.
It's okay. It's okay. Look, honestly, y'all did me a favor. I was done watching the Ravens. Like, I didn't want to feel that pain anymore. We can talk about that later.
Yeah, so I'm a hardcore Steelers fan. Lakers is my other team, Dodgers, and Philadelphia Flyers would be one of my teams. Which is weird. Kings, Philadelphia Flyers. College, Michigan State and Michigan has always been my teams since I was a kid. I love Michigan. Charles Woodson was my favorite player in college. So Michigan State, both basketball and football would be my college teams. I mean, what else is there? Cricket, don't know any. So, what was that?
You got a soccer team?
I don't watch soccer.
Okay, fair enough.
Being Hispanic and don't watch soccer, it's blasphemy. But I don't watch soccer.
Well, then I do have a couple options for you once we get back into the F1 season. There are a couple great Spanish drivers and one fantastic Mexican driver.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it.
Perez is a fantastic driver for Red Bull, and he's from Mexico. And then you have Fernando Alonso, who's one of the greatest champions in F1 history, from Spain, and then a young up-and-comer, Carlos Sainz, from Spain as well. There's lots of flair going on in F1. But, sir, we're not here to talk about F1 yet. That comes at the end of February, and I will get the internet on board because a lot of us are. But we'll get to that. First, there was a game last night that not a lot of people stayed up for because they thought it was over. And I'm going to name those people right now. All right? My dad, my stepdad, everyone else in my family that was in any sort of a group chat stopped responding after the third quarter when Alabama was up 18-13. Okay. Biggest highlight, it was all field goals up until one touchdown from Alabama. And then the unfortunate ACL tear, as confirmed by ESPN's Adam Schefter today, for Jameson Williams, unfortunately for Alabama. So he's expected to make a full recovery. It was a very strange tweet from Adam Schefter, extremely weirdly worded, like it was from an agent to him, specifically referencing that the doctors expect him to make a full recovery and will be able to maintain his sub 4.3 40-yard dash speed. You ever heard of a doctor before a surgery confirming like that? Like, I just thought that was kind of like a really weird piece of news. It was like cool, like thanks, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that'd be like when somebody like Kobe tore his ACL tore his Achilles, and they're like, no, he's going to be the same Kobe coming back when he comes back from it. Like, that's weird that they said that he's going to be able to keep his speed. But maybe with the technology that we have now, they maybe can do that. I don't know.
Watching Klay Thompson jump, I believe anything right now.
Well, yeah, we're going to talk about Klay Thompson later. Homeboy went to the rack after tearing his ACL and did not fear going to the rack.
I almost went and made a side-by-side edit of the dunks. Like, the airtime was the same, the come down was the same, but the endings were drastically different. And I just thought that was absolutely insane. But back to the Natty. And we get into really the start of the game is the blocked field goal by Georgia, starting a real momentum shift that Alabama seemingly snatches away immediately with the Stetson Bennett fumble that I have no idea how that was like even possible. So if you hadn't seen the play, I don't want to get sued by the NCAA. Bennett is falling, getting sacked, throws the ball. As he's throwing the ball kind of like is literally perpendicular to his hand, like it's standing straight up and is falling as he's. So it looks very strange. It doesn't really look like a throw, but the way the ball lands, an Alabama defender pulls a Nate Burleson toe drag swag unknowingly on the sidelines and saves the ball, and Alabama ends up recovering the fumble after review confirms it. And there was this one view that was like go gadget enhance, and you saw like the littlest speck of field, the tiniest speck of turf in between his shoe and the sideline. And that was enough for them to not have indisputable evidence to overturn the call. But not so fast, as Lee Corso likes to say. Georgia had an immediate answer. They come back, pick up just an amazing tear of momentum off of a 67-yard rush from was it Jamison White or
Zamar White?
Zaire White
or James Cook? It's either James Cook or Zamar White.
James Cook and White. So Cook and White. So White ran, or no, excuse me. Cook had the 67-yard rush. He only had 10 yards on 6 carries before that. Insane.
Yeah. So
and then he ends up with a crazy stat line of 7 for 77. So it's like, okay, cool, great. But the amazing part I thought of the play was the Alabama defenders end up rushing down the whole field. And you think there's no chance you're going to catch a Cook tearing down the sideline. But they did. It was like, dang, the SEC is just different. Like any of the other 135 other teams in Division I are not catching that guy. And the Alabama linebackers and safeties are like, no. We're gonna keep this going. And they almost made it a game, and there were just too many mistakes that Bryce Young really just hadn't made all year. And Georgia took advantage of it and picked him off. And honestly, it was one of the weirdest, like, kind of momentum things. Immediately after the fumble, there was a play that was ruled a fumble and a touchdown scoop and score by Georgia for an immediate momentum shift. And then they called it back. But Alabama wasn't able to do anything with that.
That was strange. It was strange. Going back to that play where where we thought it was a fumble. He shot putting the ball basically. So is that a throw? Is that a fumble? I think if the arm's going forward, even if the ball is perpendicular, you're still throwing motion. So I wouldn't have called a fumble. The fact that
even then would it have been intentional grounding?
Maybe I don't know. I don't know.
I think that's kind of a double-edged sword of it. I think it kind of takes the risk of it.
But if Georgia gives up an intentional grounding than a fumble, because the defensive player made a hell of a heads up play grabbing the ball. I think most young players would have just wouldn't have cared, or maybe would have been paying attention.
He grabbed it out off the ground. He said he had no idea what was going on. Like he just grabbed the ball. Like the ball bounced to him. Like it was extremely weird.
Yeah,
like
it's very
fumble plays that were fumbles were both extremely weird. The one that Bryce Young had, dudes were just standing around, and one Georgia player picks up the ball and is like, I didn't hear a whistle, and just runs it into the end zone, and everyone's just standing around looking at each other like, what's going on? And it was a very weird 10 minutes of football that ended up with no one getting an advantage from any of it, because Alabama ended up punting to Georgia.
Yeah, for sure. And I think
so this was all for nothing. Cool. Thanks for the show.
Right. But I think when you look at this game, like it really speaks to Georgia, how their year, like they avenged this loss to Bama, because in that Bama loss, they really, they got exposed. And you were hearing just go, like, I remember in the Michigan game, people were talking about they exposed Georgia's defense, and you need to basically just throw the ball against them. They have great run defense, but throw the ball against them, and they're not going to be able to stop you.
You see 99?
Yeah.
Boy, 99 on the defensive line for Georgia? Mm. Well, I'll make room for you or the Ravens. You can come on down. You can come on down. You and Brandon Williams just plugging them gaps. It'd be like 2 tractor trailers plug in the middle. Like, oh, that guy is huge. And he's going after Bryce Young, who's a shifty guy. And like these Alabama guys are getting some tackles on these Georgia backs. Did you see the one where the Alabama back or the Alabama linebacker basically punches the Georgia guy in the back and he just falls down? Like it wasn't even a tackle. He just like kind of punches him in the lower back.
Yeah, just assault him from the back.
Yeah, it was crazy. He fell and he only got 2 yards. And I was like, well, whatever you got to do. This is great. Like it got really interesting.
I think you're correct saying when you say that there was just so many, because it looks like Alabama. I mean, Young went for 35 of 57, 369 yards. And you're thinking about that. You're thinking, man, that's probably a good game. But he has 2 picks and only 1 touchdown.
Win games when a quarterback throws like that. The Alabama I know wins games when the running back has as many attempts as he had completion.
Well, I mean, Brian Robertson Jr. only has 68 yards, and that's what I was saying when going against Michigan. The thing was throw against Georgia. They can't stop passing. And I think Alabama decided to do that because they did it in the first game. I believe they did it in the first game. I don't really watch SEC.
They did. It was a walloping. It was
So they decided
embarrassing. It was the most, in my opinion, the most embarrassing performance in an SEC championship game by an SEC East school since my South Carolina Gamecocks played Cam Newton in the SEC championship game in 2010.
Who's the coach of that? Oh my God,
12 years ago. Okay, so it has been extremely competitive. There were even games where like Missouri was playing LSU. Like we had some weird SEC East years where Florida gets in there. It's still a great game. Georgia gets in there. It's still a great game. The game this year was just trash. Like my dad and I were watching it. It was just not good. It was just a really bad game. I left at halftime. Like, it was just absolutely.
Were you at that game?
The South. No.
Oh, okay. You're just watching it, and you're like, I'm done. Okay.
I was at the SEC championship game. That was when South Carolina went in 2010, and
okay.
It was a 7-point game with 30 seconds left going into halftime. Okay, Cam Newton goes down the field and bombs one, nails it. 14-point lead. They get the ball back. Opening kickoff touchdown. It's a 21-point lead in the span of like 30 seconds. And we're all looking around like, well, at least there's a Zach Brown band concert after this.
Right.
Like, that'll be fun. We were all just like, we wasted our money.
So I think Alabama just fell into like you said, their running backs needed to control the game. And I think they just fell into it like, hey, we threw against this team before. We can do it again. And Georgia stepped up their play. Bennett, look at Bennett came out and he balled out. I mean, 17 of 26, 224 yards, but 2
game
touchdowns.
In the SEC, no interceptions. Against that Bama team, even though they are extremely depleted at defensive back. We cannot go without saying how injured this Bama team was, which led to a 2.5-point favorite for Georgia, being the number 4 seed in the playoffs, so to speak, even though they had only lost 1 game to Bama. But for it to be Mechie, already out, tore his ACL in the game. Georgia killed 2 Bama receivers in 2 games. That is bonkers. Like, that is wild. Like, that's a hit job. Like, that is insane.
But Sean Payne was coaching that team.
Oh, absolutely.
He had Bountygate.
Exactly. Exactly. And Mike Tomlin stuck his leg out on the play, too. Like, quit playing. Like, all the tricks were on display. Everything was on the table. But I think the moment of the night for me is Stetson Bennett. And this is so hard for me to say. Like, I fucking hate Georgia. Like, they are, to South Carolina, them and Clemson are 1A and 1B. Like, and it tosses back and forth between whoever's better, you hate them more. And it's just because their fans are more annoying than the others. But no fans are more annoying to me than Georgia and Clemson fans. I can't stand them. Bring on the internet. I got every piece of ammunition for you because I was there for victories when South Carolina. But, like, these people are so annoying. But looking at Stetson Bennett last night, when the interception was made by, and I forget the player's name, who made the final interception, but they pointed out that his mother had been battling breast cancer. It was like a huge moment. And then they pan over to Stetson, and it really sinks in that he's a third-string walk-on quarterback in the SEC who beat out the number 1 recruit in college football, sent his ass to Ohio State like it was nothing, and beat him out. Like, insane. And he won the national championship game, the first national title for Georgia in 40 years. That is insane.
And they talked about him being not big enough. He was the third string, like you said.
Thank you, bro.
And they talk about how he wasn't big enough and how he couldn't play in the SEC, and to win a national championship. And not only that, legitimately win a national championship beating Alabama. You beat anybody else, people will always be like, but you beat Nick Saban, you beat Alabama, and you avenge a loss from the SEC championship. It's a legit. I mean, not saying not all any other championship isn't legit, but you know what I'm saying. Like if you beat when the Giants beat Parachutes,
right? Like
they beat Michigan.
So you got to put that too, where it's like, Bama played Cincinnati, and I'm not going to talk down Cincinnati, but that's all fine and dandy. Yeah, it didn't matter. Bama could have won. It didn't matter who Bama put out there. They were going to win that game. But Georgia actually beating Michigan on a neutral field very handedly. Like it was that was not fun. Like none of these games were fun to watch. Like from the SEC championship to the both semifinals, everything up until the 3.5, like the 10-minute mark of the third quarter was terrible. And then the focus to say what Anakin said, like now this is pod racing. I was like, now this is college football. Like
we've been so used to college football being so fast paced, high scoring, or great defense. You know, things like that, and it was very sloppy. Yeah, I know. You messaged me. You were messaging me like you got to watch this game, and I'm watching it, and there was a lot of amateur mistakes. You know, obviously it's college football. It's not the pros. You know, when you see this in the pros, you get very upset, but it's college, so you kind of expect it. But when you're Alabama, when you're a Georgia, when you're a Michigan, you expect better quality play, and it was good play, but there was a little sloppiness. But you're right. Once the 10-minute mark hit, all of a sudden it just became high scoring and just really good playing, and it was fun to watch. And congratulations to Georgia. I mean, that was a tough loss you took against Alabama earlier, and you could have just folded. Yeah, it was embarrassing. You could have folded. You could have easily folded, and they didn't.
You couldn't hear Georgia fans, and I'm next door in South Carolina. You couldn't hear the dogs barking, but damn, you heard them last night barking on that TV, and those fans were out of control. And the thing that kind of pisses me off the most is that I am a fan of the World Series champion Atlanta Braves.
Oh, here we go.
Fuckers get to double dip. Are you kidding me? They get to double dip with a Natty and a World Series. God, I hate them even more. Like they
do. They do World Series and a college national. I mean, so hopefully the Atlanta Hawks can get better and maybe.
They trade for Ben Simmons from rumors that I'm hearing that John Collins is now open in talks to move to Philly.
There we go. We'll see.
That's latest rumors as of today. You know, talk a little breaking news. The Cavs did just extend their GM through the 26-27 season. So 6th seed, looking good. Got a lot of young players. But that'll do it for the college football title game. Next year, you guys will hear so much college football because the Gamecocks got Spencer Rattler, and it is on, and we are coming for Georgia. The Gamecocks are going to beat Georgia. And it is going to be amazing, and I will be there. And
there you go.
In it right now on January 11th, 9:54 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Gamecocks will beat Georgia. Spencer Rattler will have 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
Ooh, four touchdowns.
4 touchdowns. My dude's bombing. He said he came here because of the pro-style offense. That dude will hand the ball off on 3rd down, and that is it. And it better be 3rd and 2. But speaking of handing it off, we're going to hand it off over to the NFL, who just had the first Week 18. Congratulations to the NFL. You had your first ever Week 18, and it lived up to all the hype.
Oh,
if every Week 18 can be like this forever, it can stay.
It's
absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, it was miserable. It literally came down to the last game of the season, and people are up in arms right now with conspiracy theories, They're watching videos of people looking at a video saying, "Look what they said. They said they were going to do this," and so it's hilarious. And we'll get into that. We'll get into that game that we're talking about. But let's talk about the other games that happened on Sunday or Saturday and Sunday. Actually,
Saturday and Sunday were crazy. Saturday was the Colts game.
No, it's the Chiefs Broncos and then Cowboys Eagles. Yeah, Cowboys Eagles was a blowout. Cowboys 51-26. Eagles, Eagles are good to the playoffs.
I caught the second game.
Yeah. First game was interesting though. Broncos Chiefs. Broncos only lost by 4. Chiefs 12-5, 5-3 away. They're going to be home this weekend.
Patty Mahomes might have to play his first road playoff game.
Yeah, well, we're going to get into my team. I'll talk about it later. I don't think we're going to win the game. I'll be 100% honest with you, but I'm going to throw some stuff out there that might disagree with my own pick. But yeah, Chiefs look good. I mean, they're the number 2 seed, correct? Because
yes, they are the number 1. The Titans are the number 1 seed. Bills number 3. Bengals number 4.
Okay, yeah. So
Pats 5. Raiders 6, Steelers 7.
Yeah, I mean, we could run over some of the scores. Maybe we'll talk about the important games. Bengals, Browns won. What do you think is going to happen with Baker? I mean, I know Matt's not here right now, but Baker.
I'm like, okay.
Let's shout out to Lunch Break Hot Take. They are a Ravens podcast, so they're not happy. Well, they're good. They're good.
Whoa. Real Ravens fans are so fucking happy the season's over. I'm doing this now.
Okay.
The last 6 weeks of my life have been fucking miserable on Sundays. Fucking miserable. For one reason, 3 out of those 6 games came down to literally the last play, and 2 of those games were spoiled for me 10 seconds before I was able to watch it for myself. 10 seconds before. So I've had this, like, even the games that we should have lost. We should have lost to the Lions. We should have lost to the Vikings. Like, we should have lost all these games. Like, it shouldn't even have been close to this. And yet, this team still had me watching with a little slimmer of hope. Just the tiniest. And it's the hope that kills you. And that is my definition of the Ravens team this season. Because last 6 weeks, Josh Johnson waiting, like, is Lamar coming back? Is he practicing? Shows up to practice. Isn't there. He's limping. Like, cool, get him off the knee or whatever it is. Get him off the ankle. Get him off of it. Like, stop trying to push this. The season's over. We were showing up to work with 45% of our salary cap on the field on that last Steelers game. What are we talking about? Like that team's not going to win football games. That team doesn't need to go to the playoffs. That team needs to go to bed. That team needs to go to bed and needs to line up outside of LeBron's hyperbolic time chamber and go in and take a nap.
Yeah, I mean, you were 8-3 though. I mean, and I think that's the frustrating part because I'll be honest with you, even as a Steeler fan, injuries suck. And I know people are like, injuries are part of the game, but let's be honest. If injuries are part of the game, but a team is better when their players are not injured. The Ravens are a good team. They were 8-3. Lamar gets hurt. Their defense gets hurt, starts to get hurt. They have, I've heard Hot Take talks about all the time. The receiving core is not that great. Lamar has to become Superman while playing the game. And you're 8-3. I would also
like to, and that is a very, very, very true point.
Yeah.
But the offense that we have and the receiving talent that we have is bonkers. Like, they are all stellar athletes and stellar receivers. But this offense does not allow receivers to heat up like a 3-point shooter heats up in an offense. Like, they're like, you can't just get them. The only one that gets going is Mark Andrews because he'd catch anything. He'd catch COVID if he was quintuple vaccinated. He catch anything. And Every receiver. You try to get Bateman going. Bateman tries to get something going. Every time you get him going on a long ball, they're like, you know what we're going to do? Let's throw a screen 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Oh, that'll go well when there's nobody there to block. Like, it's ridiculous. You go through the list of people who ended up and were on IR. J.K. Dobbins, Khalil Dorsey, Gus Edwards, Deshaun Elliott, L.J. Fort, Deleen Hayes, Marlon Humphrey, Xavier Kelly, Amon Marshall, Nate McCrary, like Marcus Peters, Tyree Phillips, Ronnie Stanley. Like it just keeps on going. And Derek Wolfe. Like it just kind of like all these really productive players that we paid a lot of fucking money weren't there.
Yeah, so, and I do think watching the game from a Steelers perspective, there is a point where you guys were, and Lamar's hurt, I understand that, but you guys were on the 10 and you just had gashed us for almost like 50 yards running with Murray, and then they throw the ball.
Yes! Oh my God! Keep running the fucking ball.
Oh, I know who We Hooping is. I have made a TikTok on We Hooping. But yeah, why don't you run the ball? The Steelers couldn't stop a run if their life depended on it.
No, there was nothing stopping them.
Yeah, you guys could have easily just ran that in, and
I'd forgotten about it. I blanked that out of my head. Oh.
I did it because I remember I was in Lunch Break Hot Takes Discord, and I was like, you guys are about to win the game. Because we couldn't stop the run. Murray looked like a Pro Bowl running back against us. He was just running all over us, and I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me.
I've always loved him. How do you not love 6'2", 225? I'm sorry. How do you not love that? Give him the ball and let him run.
Exactly. And you're at the 10. You're at the 10. I think you're at the 10, and it was a first down. So you literally could probably play 4-down territory.
What is 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3? That's 12. Just run the ball, get 3 yards 4 times. You're in the end zone. Like,
and they decided to put it in
Mark Andrews' hands.
Not Mark Andrews. Well, he tried. Who's the quarterback? I'm sorry, Hurley.
Huntley.
Huntley. That's why I couldn't think of his name, and I think that was a big mistake. And then
even balls that have ended the games. He lost us the Rams game when he forced the ball to Hollywood, and then he lost the game to the Steelers when he forced the ball in the end zone and caused the pick.
Yeah,
and that's the difference in the playoffs.
And I get what you're saying. Like for the Steelers right now, it's crazy because we shouldn't win this game. I said some things. I said I'll say this. What's funny about this, what mirrors when Ben won his first Super Bowl, is we have to go on the road no matter what, all 3 games to get to the Super Bowl, which Ben has done. We have to beat the number 1, 2, and 3 team, which Ben has done. And Ben has also beaten Kansas City in Kansas City. So we're not going to win the game, but there's a lot there for us. I get what you're saying. Like for Pittsburgh, this is a send-off for Ben. Get him in the playoffs. He's going to retire. Bye. For you, for the Ravens fans, you're like you said, why would we want to be in the playoffs for? Just to lose in the first round and then get Lamar. If Lamar wanted to come back, get him hurt, or just look bad, and now we're not. You're not because what now? Because you are out of the playoffs. What's your pick? Where are you top 12 in picks or something like that? 14. So, but you got to work. I mean, see what happens. See what you guys. Where do you think you guys are going to go with that pick?
Interior lineman.
You didn't like Villanueva? Thanks for taking him for us.
No, you can fucking have him back.
We were okay with that, with you taking him for us.
I know everyone was, and I was like, wait, why is this so easy?
Okay,
why did we just get handed him?
I mean, we could talk about more Ravens Steelers in a minute, but the game I wanted to talk about, the real game I wanted to talk about, was this Colts Jaguars game, because Colts were favored. Colts were favored to win this game. What happened to the Colts? What happened to the Colts? If I tell you, Colin, if I tell you all you got to do is beat the Jacksonville Jaguars to get in the playoffs, how do you not beat the Jacksonville Jaguars? Now, I will say this. Jacksonville has beaten the Colts since 2014. The Colts have not beaten the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville since 2014. I will give it that. Yeah, they hadn't beaten them. But
Vegas, are you listening?
But it was the Jaguars, and you're the Colts. How do you not win this game? Like, how do you not walk into Jacksonville and beat and just like, like you just walk in? I mean, Laura, like, I don't get it.
I have nothing because there are no words.
Dude, it was crazy. It was
the
nuts.
reason the Colts weren't playing at home was because the fucking Georgia game was at their home. So they weren't playing there because the Natty was there, all right? If things were different, they were probably ending the season in Indianapolis, okay?
Yeah.
Like, that's just
But the schedule was out a year ago, right?
Yeah. So they would have had the
Yeah.
Natty plan 4 years in advance.
Yeah. But even then, if you are a perennial playoff team, knowing you have to go into Jacksonville, who's
and they lost the fucking first round pick to the Eagles.
Yeah, and you're 2-4. They're a 2-14 team. That's on you.
Eagles have 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 picks. Wait. The Eagles
because of the Carson Wentz trade, right?
Yeah, they have 3 picks in the first round. They have 15, 16, and whatever falls to them with their playoff spot. That's insane.
And the Eagles are in the playoffs. The Colts are swinging at the air right now. They're literally just swinging at the air.
Oh, okay. Right now, okay. We'll look ahead to that later. Let's break down the matchups coming up for this weekend. We have 3 matchups in the NFC, 3 matchups in the AFC. Let's start with the NFC with the boring game, Eagles and Bucks. How bad will the Bucks thrash the Eagles?
The Bucks are going to absolutely. Now it's going to be interesting. I will say this: it's going to be actually kind of dope to see what Fields does in the playoffs, because I think he's starting. Hurts. Sorry, so not Fields. Why did I say Fields? Hurts. To see what he does in the playoffs. But the Bucks are gonna absolutely kill him. The Bucks are.
Yeah, I'm looking at like a 42-17.
Yeah, and
that ballpark.
Yes. What's going on with the Bucks mentally, though, with the whole Antonio Brown thing? Do you think that's going to affect them?
They don't care. That okay. Like I don't think that.
I mean, they have is Mike Evans. Mike Evans isn't hurt, right?
No, Mike Evans is good, and
Gronkowski.
Gronk is now the new $1 million man, and he's back to being cocky. And cocky Gronk is a dangerous Gronk because the dude is still good for 9 yards on third down. And if you can get that out of Gronk 4 times a game, cool. Like that's fine for a dude that's in his mid-30s and clearly physically not what he used to be, but is still putting up numbers. So nothing much more to say on that game besides excited to see Hurts and Devonta Smith and just to see if they can, make a little magic, because that would be huge. I think that'd be the biggest upset of the weekend. Besides Steelers, Chiefs.
I don't think they're gonna. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't think they're gonna upset them. But I mean, you never know. Any given Sunday, it's always a thing. But it's gonna be. Yeah, we're gonna see what the Philadelphia has in store for them. Like you just said, they have a bunch of first round picks, so they're to get to the playoffs like this. That's pretty good.
It's kind of good. You kind of feel like they're in a situation like the Ravens were in 2 years ago. Let's just see if they fuck it up as bad as we did. Got a good quarterback. You got a cocky quarterback that's still on his rookie contract. You can make moves. You got good draft picks.
Yeah.
See what you can do. Build up a good core, Eagles. I mean, I honestly, they're probably tied with the Cowboys for teams I dislike the least out of the NFC East, to be completely honest. I have no quarrel with the Cowboys. I had Zeke on my fantasy football team for the last 6 years. So, at some point, you're kind of like, all right, Cowboys, you're going to win me a game or something? Like, I've ended up rooting for the Cowboys more over than I have rooted against them. But we can go ahead and talk about the Cowboys. 49ers, Cowboys.
It's a game from the 80s.
Dude, Jimmy G is a gangster. Like, has a torn ligament in his thumb and comes out and wins the game and gets into the playoffs with a busted up hand. But you got to go to Dallas into Jerry World and play the highest scoring offense in the league Can Jimmy G and Deebo Samuel keep up with the Cowboys?
I mean, who do you trust more, Jimmy G or Dak Prescott?
Oh, it's Dak Prescott every day.
Okay, so what's going to be the X factor in this game?
I
What do you
would
think?
say the defensive line of the 49ers and their
Yeah,
ability
so
to contain the run.
and so it's going to can they control Zeke? Zeke, obviously is a monster. You know this. If they could control him, then you then put pressure on Dak Prescott. What can Jimmy G do? We'll see. It is the Cowboys though, and for some reason, Cowboys all of a sudden playoffs come and they forget who they are, and um, and like Buck says, well, I think both running games are going to decide the game, because if Zeke goes off and runs for 150 to that means they're going to be able to control the clock. So
Yeah, that's
that
at
means
least 35 minutes of possession for the Cowboys.
So it's going to be who can control the run and who can run the ball, and who can make the plays. We'll see. Cowboys talked about last year, they could have done so much if Dak hadn't been hurt. Well, Dak's not hurt now. You're in the playoffs. You're home, so you better make it count. Because I think Packers are number 1 seed, so you're not gonna have a NFC Championship game in Dallas. So you better win these games so you can get to the NFC Championship. Because I think for Dallas, it's NFC Championship or bust. I think it's Super Bowl or bust, but
it's the
but
Super Bowl. Like a year,
I think it's Super Bowl, but
goes back for injury. I think
it's Super Bowl or bust. But I think they'll feel better if they make it to the NFC Championship game. If they don't get to the NFC Championship game, I think it's a wasted season again for them.
That defense,
especially with all the talent.
best defense they've had since they won a Super Bowl, and I think that defense is poised to make some fucking noise and really scare some people, and could possibly win them games, because they won me a shitload of fantasy games this year. That defense is high scoring. They lock down on mistakes. They turn wild plays into like amazing turnovers. Like, they make the most out of the weirdest shit. Like, the ball's flying around in places, suddenly it falls into their hands. Like, these guys are ball magnets on that team. And whether it's Jalen at the linebacker position or whether it's Trayvon Diggs at the cornerback position, they are stacked. And you got Gregory on the front line. You still, it is just insane. They are stacked. They go 3 deep at every position. And that's the first time I think Cowboys fans can say, like, if the offense struggles for 10 minutes, the defense can pull us out of it, and they're confident. And I think that's the difference with the Cowboys team this year to last year, even more so than the lack of Dak, is the confidence in the defense and the swagger of the defense, because I think that is more important coming into the playoffs than like
a high-powered offense. Yeah,
yes, because you can
100% agree.
Like, the Ravens 2 years ago, when we got the bye, had no swagger coming out of the bye. And especially after we decided to, or no, not out of the bye. We let Lamar sit week 17 and went right into the Titans game in the wild card game and got thrashed. We had no momentum, no nothing, just Lamar sitting on the sideline holding a Microsoft Edge tablet, and it just doesn't work. Like, these teams that played out week 18, like, I think the Packers learned something too, because Aaron Rodgers was playing way more of that game than I thought he was going to play. Like, he was still in it for a good while in the second quarter, and I thought he was going to do one drive and out like it was week 3 of the preseason.
Yeah.
But they stuck him in there, and I think people are learning that lesson, that momentum is important. And a team that is carrying, my score prediction, 38-26 Cowboys. What's yours?
I'm going to go 27-24 Cowboys.
Ooh, I like it. A little spicier action. You like a little closer game. I like to turn it off in the fourth and switch over to something for the night game. Over to the Cardinals at the Rams. An interesting predicament. We have one of 2 interdivision matchups in the playoffs.
Yeah.
The Rams are hot. The Cardinals are heating up. They're trying to like put themselves in the microwave and reheat the team, because they were once the hottest team in football. And have struggled to find an identity aside from James Conner and his unbelievable play over the last month and a half. I think he has been the end of the season MVP in terms of, I don't think the Cardinals are in the playoffs without the play of James Conner. And he's just really found a way to keep this team going. And Buck, look, Rams are hot. They lost going into the playoffs. They didn't need to win. It's a mindset thing. That's going into what I'm saying. Like, as a team, they are hot, but as a mentality, it's different. Like, as a team playing wise, you still got Cooper Kupp, you still got Matt Stafford. You're still going to let them loose and go full berserko. But they don't have the swagger. I think the Cardinals have the swagger. They have the hunger. I think the Cardinals are going to walk into Los Angeles and beat the Rams. I think Kyler Murray was built for this moment, and Matt's staph infection is still Matt's staph infection. Like, he is still going to be that dude. He's never had a moment as big as this in his entire career. And this is the biggest stage Matt Stafford has ever seen, and the Cardinals are going to be that team to push him, to either push him to that next level or prove that Matt Stafford is a bum, once a bum, always a bum. Is he going to be too hot off of the Georgia win on Monday night to focus against the Rams? Buck, do you honestly trust Stafford? It's not been good the last month. Exactly. Cooper Kupp has been great saving Matt Stafford in those moments, and OBJ has been great saving Matt Stafford to save them against the Ravens in the last second. Unbelievable stuff, but it's not Matt Stafford. It's the guys around him. And without a secure running game, I just don't trust the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, it's all on Matt Stafford right now. A lot of people talk about is Matt Stafford, he played in Detroit. Oh, put some talent around him and he would be great. He had Megatron back in the day. Now he's in LA. And this is his opportunity to prove the naysayers. Can he show up? And it's going to be on him. Like you just said, he doesn't have a running game, possibly. So it's going to be on him. He's going to throw.
Georgia Bulldogs in the backfield. Very interesting to look at this. Sony Michel and Matt Stafford, 2 Georgia Bulldogs in the backfield. Will that pressure from Monday night be too much?
Yeah.
I think it's stupid, but these college guys really let that shit get into their heads. Like, they will really fall right back into that college life. Some of them are probably at the game. Not even gonna lie, probably.
Yeah. I think Matt Stafford's going to do it. I think Matt Stafford and I think OBJ and Cooper Kupp are going to go off. And I think the Rams defense is going to be able to hold the Cardinals offense. And we don't know what's up with going on with JJ Watt. So I think Matt Stafford's going to go off, and I think he's going to throw for 3 touchdowns.
Ooh.
I think he's going to throw for 3 touchdowns, and they're going to be able to win this game. I think it's going to be a high score, and I think it's going to be 30-21 Rams.
I said 35-32 Cardinals.
Oh, okay. Well, you made this one close, and
yeah. Because you said what for the Cowboys game? You said Cowboys 27-24?
27-24.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, look, we're on the same. We're rolling here, and we rolled right through the NFC as we roll over to the AFC with the other divisional matchup that we have. Patriots making the trek up to the tundra of Buffalo to face the Bills. I have no idea what's going to happen in this game.
No.
I don't know. And it might tie. If there was ever a playoff tie, it might be this game because the might of Bill Belichick in the playoffs is immense. The man has an aura. He is swagger personified, but the most unique brand of swagger you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And the Bills have amazing players. But they have playoff swagger?
Yeah. This is going to prove a lot for Josh Allen and what he could do. Look, Bill Belichick, let's be honest, Tom Brady ain't walking through that door. So he's taking what he has into the playoffs. But it's Bill Belichick. We've seen him take unknown people before and just get him to the. Could you imagine how pissed off people would be if he won a Super Bowl without Tom Brady? God
the
damn
year
it.
after Tom Brady won a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Without
after
him.
oh, it'd be miserable. It'd be miserable.
I'm one of those people, and you are too. You probably
Yeah.
would be too. You would be
I'd
happy.
be
I would
angry.
be happy. This would be terrible.
I'd be miserable.
You're telling me they were both great? I have no one to blame.
Yeah.
I have no one to put the blame on. It wasn't Brady the whole time. It
was both of them, right? I just think Buffalo has too much firepower. I think they're gonna. If Buffalo loses this game, it's because of the inexperience of a playoff atmosphere for them, and the experience for Bill Belichick to call plays in the playoffs, and get his team ready. I think that would be the difference. But I think Buffalo's ready. They're primed. It looks like it's Buffalo, Kansas City in the AFC Championship game, but there could be a possibility of Buffalo losing. But I think Buffalo just has too much firepower, and I think they'll get past New England. I don't think it will be handily because it is an AFC East rivalry game, but I think it's going to be a good game. But I think Buffalo just has that firepower to overcome the inexperience of a playoffs atmosphere.
See, I'm bringing this all back to the Natty. Okay, Mac Jones now has a fire in his belly. The tide did not roll on Monday night. Will he roll with Nick Saban's best friend Bill Belichick over the Bills? I'm taking the Pats 26-24, okay? We're going to have a barn burner. These games, I want good football, folks. I don't sit here and tell you the games are going to be a blowout. It's going to suck. I told you one of the games is going to be a blowout. All these other games are going to be great, okay? That's the world we live in. Football is on fire right now. We get one bad game this weekend, okay? One bad game, and our luck, it's going to be it's probably going to be the Sunday night game because Tom Brady deserves a Sunday night. Because that's what they do. They're like, who we gonna put on a Sunday night? Tom Brady. And
we got the Sunday night game.
Oh, well then. I hope Tom Brady has.
They have the early game. They have the 10 a.m. game.
Oh my God.
Yeah, San Francisco Dallas is the 1:00 game, and we have the Sunday night game.
Oh, word. Okay, yeah. Okay, so okay. So Saturday we have Raiders Bengals, which we'll talk about next.
Yeah.
Patriots Bills. And then we have 3 games on Sunday. Oh, we have a Monday game. Okay,
we have a Monday night game.
Monday game. Okay. Got it. So, what is your score prediction?
For Buffalo, New England, I'm going to say Buffalo. I'm going to say 30-17 Buffalo.
Wow. Okay. Is that like a stomping the whole time, or did the Pats have life until a point?
I think it will be a tight game until about the mid third quarter, and
kind of like last night.
I think Buffalo's gonna. I think Josh Allen's gonna throw a ball to Diggs, and then it's just gonna stop.
All right.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. I approve. I'd be happy with that. I love Stephon Diggs. That the Diggs family is now the first family of the NFL, with Aiden Diggs taking over social media, Trayvon Diggs taking over backfields and just absolutely destroying wide receivers, and Stephon Diggs destroying cornerbacks as he lives and breathes. I'd love to think of that. Yeah, I just had visions of Thanksgiving where like Trayvon got to show up and be like, you know, you got more picks than you got touchdowns this year, right? Like, you know, like there's just this cockiness that I feel like that whole family has that is just like so good for football. That like they just bring the best out of each other, and that's the kind of like the Mannings. You know, you got these families like you realize like, oh shit, if these guys didn't have brothers, would they, or you know, like siblings that did what they did, would they be as great as they were? Like I don't know. I really think there's something about pushing each other that is really great and beneficial for some of these guys.
Look at the Watts. Look at the Watts. JJ Watt to 100%. TJ Watt and their brother. And then
could you imagine that when JJ Watt was killing the league in Houston on a shitty team, that eventually there would be a sibling who's arguably situationally better at football than his brother? Yeah. Because we can't argue that TJ is a more situationally diverse player than his brother. JJ could never stand up and play linebacker ever. That would just not ever happen.
Yeah,
like it would have looked hilarious. It would have honestly been hilarious to watch him in pass coverage. But TJ can go out.
He could, yeah.
Yeah, he can do a little something if you need him to. He's a very skilled guy and extremely just so talented. But I am so happy he didn't break the record against us and he only tied.
He should. And people are like going for that fumble by what's his name?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that was a sack. You need to give it to him, and they're not going to give it to him. They're like, no, just tie.
Like whenever I think of those guys, like one, you're not going to get that call at home because scorers are hired by the home team. The scorekeepers at home arena.
Oh, yeah. They were like, no.
They're all homers. Like when I work for the school that I work for down here in Charleston, I know the guys that keep the score and they keep the stats. So they have to put it online into the game cast for the stats. So even if it's like soccer, for example, just as a very like basic example, they're like, oh, that's a shot. And we're all looking at each other in the box like, was that a shot? Like, I was kind of liberal about that. You got to just give him a shot. Like,
the Ravens were not going to give that to him. No
way.
They were pissed when he tied, but they were not like they didn't want to give it to him. They didn't even want to give him the half a sack. They're like, no, we're not giving it to him.
He broke it. I forgot he was going to tie Strahan. So I think that's still great because Strahan's still, an icon. And I think to make it a bit more ceremonious would have been. Obviously, if you guys would have been like the 3 seed or 2 seed, you guys would have been in, real contention for the North.
Yeah.
He would have broken it. And that would have been something special. I don't think doing it.
Well, he got hurt. Remember, he got hurt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And remember the people giving Dak shit on Sunday for breaking the franchise touchdown record? And then Adam Schefter retweets this random non-verified account that's like, hold up, everybody. Dak was out a game. That's a 17-game stat line,
and they're not going to bring. Yeah, they're not. And TJ was out. He got hurt against the Raiders halfway through, and then he missed the next game. And I think he might then because then the next game after that he played, but then was hurt again.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, he did it in 17.
Technically missed 2 whole games if you almost look at it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, he did it in 16. So it is crazy, how we do scoring and everything, but it is what he tied it. It's fine. You can't deny he's not defensive player of the year, even though people want to. He's been snuffed the last 2 years, but he's definitely going to get it this year. I think he's definitely going to win defensive player.
Yeah, Trayvon Diggs cooled off on the
interceptions.
Yeah. If he'd have gotten 2 more, man, I think it would have been indisputable. Like that guy was just on fire.
No, for sure.
Okay. So we got one. Nope. Hold on. We got 2 more games to talk about in the AFC. Next up, the team that refused to tie for the fate of humanity. And I'm not talking about you. We can talk about the Steelers in a second. What I'm talking about is the amount of money that people bet on the Chargers and Raiders tying would have lost Vegas and all sports books a combined $1 billion.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
$1 billion. A whole bill would have had to have been paid up by the sports books if they tied. And damn it, they almost fucking tied.
Do you know how many people do you think when they were letting the clock run go just troll everybody and just not take the timeout?
Me. It was me. I was like, they're gonna let it go.
Oh, and they took the timeout.
Derek Carr was just kind of walking. Like he wasn't really he had no momentum. It was just like, what are we watching here?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, holy shit.
Well, before we get into that, let's talk about Herbert. Because Herbert, the guy is going to be a star. First off, he made some plays.
Now, why they're down, folks. I'll give you guys a sports card of the week to buy. Buy that now because it's going to sink like a mofo because he's not in the playoffs and playoff.
Matt, that's not true. That's not what he said. He said the strategy change. They never said they were going to not take a timeout. That stop putting out false information. They said Derek Carr said when they took the timeout, our strategy changed. They were in shotgun when they took the timeout. They were throwing the ball. The Raiders were going to try to win the game. Stop thinking they weren't. Stop. I know you're a Steeler hater. Stop it. Okay?
Listen, okay, so my Sunday was wild. So I'm at work for a doubleheader, sitting in the same chair, running the video board for 8 hours at basketball games for College of Charleston. And I have my iPad up watching the Ravens game because thank God the Ravens game was on Hulu TV and I didn't have to watch it through Buff Streams. I could just watch a straight stream of it and it was great. And then I had to sit there through the second games and pray that Miami beat the Pats so my misery could end sooner than what was occurring during Sunday Night Football. Because I don't know if the Ravens beat the Steelers and the Dolphins beat the Pats that I would have been alive at the end of the Chargers-Raiders game. I don't know if the fate of my team coming down to that game would have, I don't know if I would have survived. I would have.
Thank God I have been drinking all day because watching that game now, it was so frustrating because the Raiders get out at a good lead and you're like, okay. And then it goes into the fourth quarter, and then you're like, all right.
Justin Herbert goes all Herbert on him.
And he throws the interception.
He's insane.
Yeah, he throws the interception, like, all right, it's over. And then next thing you know, he just starts fourth down, just starts converting, throwing these darts.
Fourth down conversions.
Well, I think was it 5 because one of them was a holding. One of them was a holding though.
What did Al Michaels say? He goes, well, here we go again.
Yeah.
No shit, Al. Here we go again.
And dude, some of the throws he made were just darts. Just absolute darts.
The throw to Mike Williams is the best throw of his career.
Yeah.
Well timed, right in the run. Caught him in stride, perfectly spaced between the two DBs that he was able to just fucking go. And I didn't think Mike Williams kind of had like this whole full season in him. I've been hard on Mike Williams. He went to Clemson. Fuck that nerd in a Clemson jersey. But he's all right in a Chargers jersey. He's a cool dude. He came back from that collarbone injury. I don't know if you remember this, but he's the dude that ran into the goalpost in college and cracked his collarbone. And he is at wild on a touchdown, caught the ball and cracked his collarbone. Like incredible stuff. And for him to come back, be this productive, and to have a quarterback like Justin Herbert, who is he reminds me of like he's got the cockiness of Joe Flacco, but he's way better.
Oh yeah,
way better. Yeah. And he's quiet like Joe Flacco too. Is kind of like the important thing. Like if you watch the, I know Buck, Matt, and myself were watching the Chargers. No, it wasn't Hard Knocks this year. That was Hard Knocks last year. Excuse me. He was hiding from the videographers.
Yeah.
Like he would be the last person to come out in hopes that nobody would catch him on film. Like he's a shy guy. And no shout out to Mario. And he's just a weird guy. But he's a fucking killer when you need him to be. And if this guy's going to be here for the next 10 years.
Oh, for sure. For sure. He looks like he's going to be.
3 years ago, we thought there were no quarterbacks in the NFL that were young. We all thought the quarterback position was fucked. And now I can name like 10 guys at quarterback that I'm like, oh my God, you're under 26?
Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. And before we get into the game with Cincinnati and Vegas, let's talk about Vegas. I mean, they had a rough year this year. And for them to be in the playoffs, and with all the situation I had with them, kudos to them. They had, kudos to them.
That's a rough 2 years. If you want to look at the whole thing in terms of like teams that have had, and I'm going to try to find a good way to put this. Sports Center leading stories in your organization, say 3 of them at least, with AB last year, Henry Ruggs, and John Gruden this year. For an organization to rally like that and to stick it out, Derek Carr is like becoming this guy who might not be the best player on the field, but is a good football player. The Raiders get no kudos. You're right. And to be honest, a lot of my lack of Raiders kudos came from the way they bailed on Oakland. You know, my girlfriend's from Oakland. My I got a lot of family out there. Like, it really hurt them to lose the Warriors, to lose the Raiders, to possibly be losing the A's in the next few years. Like, it really hurt some of those people to see them walk away, but to be successful, it all came back. All those people I know out there that are Raiders fans are on fire right now, and they just are enjoying it because they didn't think any of it was going to happen. Like, it shouldn't have happened. You lose a head coach, you lose a star player. All this stuff really goes against your favor, but here they are, proving us all wrong. And they have a chance to do it on Saturday.
Yeah, and they're playing Cincinnati. And look, Cincinnati won the AFC North, which is a tough division, but Cincinnati hasn't looked overly impressive. You know, they had an impressive win against Kansas City, which I think Kansas City were morons and could have won that game easily. And Cincinnati only finished, I believe, 10-7. Yeah, 10-7. So it's going to be interesting. Can the Raiders travel? That's going to be the interesting part. And Bronny's already saying the Bengals are going to light them up. Probably
Burrow
and Chase. I've had to deal with them. I've had to deal with them all year, and you had to deal with them all. The Burrow and Chase are amazing. Chase is absolutely amazing. So shout
out to Chase, who went into the season with everyone and their mom saying he couldn't catch.
Oh, he got everything.
He can catch anything. Everyone can shut up.
And
Joe Burrow is a full participant. Bengals are winning this game.
Yeah. I mean, they should.
Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon had a week to sit. I think it's fine to sit a running back. It's not good to sit a quarterback. That's my rule. I'm not going to sit my quarterback. I'll sit my running back.
Yeah, I think, and we'll see what happens. Can Crosby create cause Burrow to make mistakes? That's going to be the key issue. I
got Bengals 45-31.
Wow, that high?
I think it's going to be wild.
I think it's going to be 27-17. I think 27-17.
Okay.
And I know the Bengals beat the crap out of the Raiders earlier this year. It's the playoffs, so it's different. It's just different.
We'll see if that cigar toting mofo decides to show up or if he left his lighter at home. And now we travel to Kansas City.
Yes, we do.
Where a team known as the Pittsburgh Steelers is traveling to Kansas City to face the Chiefs.
Yep.
In what might be probably the most watched game of the weekend. I think think
so. Well, I think San Francisco Dallas is gonna be your most watched.
Yeah, that's 90s
because it's the 80s. Yeah, 90s, 80s.
Yeah, it's a lot of people are probably gonna watch that game. But in terms of people who are not fans of the teams that will tune into this game, I think you'll have a lot of football fans tuning in to see, is this Big Ben's last game? Is this Pat Mahomes' chance to really take the mantle and say, I've beaten MVP X, Y, Z of the former era, and I'm going to make my argument to be the quarterback right now? Because he's kind of lost the argument a little bit this year. He was not consistently amazing. Tom Brady's had a better statistical season. Aaron Rodgers has had a better statistical season, and Josh Allen has had a better statistical season. So it's a little bit.
I'm just gonna say this. Bronny's absolutely right. But if the Steelers win this game, Bronny's gonna lose it. He's gonna like hate Raider fans forever.
I'll be here for it. And here's what I'll say about this. Look, like, my team can lose and your team can win. Here's why I'm happy: because my friend is happy. I'm happy my friend is happy. I'm not happy his team won. I'm happy that my friend is happy. That's all this is. Like, I have plenty of Georgia friends. I'm not going to talk to them for months. But I'm happy they won the game because they're happy. I'm not happy that Georgia won. I'm happy that my friends are happy because they need that little bit of stuff. So if I get to root for the Steelers against Patrick Mahomes because he's a piece of shit, I don't know who's – honestly, that's a hard choice. I dislike Patrick Mahomes as a football player, but he's a cool dude. I dislike the Steelers as a football team more than any other NFL team. I find it really hard, though. Like, this is a really tough choice for me to choose between. I do think the Chiefs are going to take it. We can talk about the nitty-gritty of the details. How are the receivers? Are you confident that you're going to have enough people out there with Deontay? Deontay got roughed up against the Ravens. We were not easy on him. But I think the X factor in this game, can the Chiefs stop Pat?
You mean can the Steelers stop Pat?
No. Can the Chiefs stop Pat Freiermuth, or however the fuck you say his name?
Oh, Freiermuth. Okay, I was thinking. Wait, what?
Yeah, well, Pat Mahomes. Okay. Sorry. Pat Mahomes, Pat Freiermuth. I didn't know how to say his last name, so I just.
That's all good. Look, as a realist, the Chiefs should absolutely have this game.
But wouldn't it be the better version of that guy in practice, right? In theory, you're guarding Travis Kelce in practice, so I should be able to handle Travis Kelce light.
But Travis Kelce is a different breed. But
exactly. So then I should, in theory, be able to handle them. But the Ravens can handle Mark Andrews in practice, maybe. But they got lit up by you.
Well, let's see. It's going to come down to one. It's going to come down to two things. Can our defense contain Patrick Mahomes and not get ran over like we did last time? And does 2000 whatever Ben shows up, which his arm's not the same. But let's just say for one game, he decides, you know what, I'm going to let it loose. And he's able to make those throws.
Arm me up with the painkillers, Nancy. Grab them.
I mean,
put them right here. Right here. Right here.
I say I agree with Brownie. By halftime, the game should be not out of reach.
But I don't want that. No.
Going into the fourth quarter, if it is a tight game,
8-point game going into the fourth quarter, give me a fucking shot.
But here's the thing: going into the fourth quarter, the Steelers are plus 60 in points.
This isn't a movie show.
I know it's not, but it's they're plus 60 in the fourth quarter. So if you're going into the fourth quarter and the Steelers are down 3, down 7, down 10,
you guys got that comeback magic.
We have. Again, I'm being a realist. I don't think the Steelers will win, but I said earlier, Big Ben's walked into Kansas City and beat them before. Big Ben's gone on the road and won playoffs games. Out of if we're looking at all the players right now and the quarterbacks, Tom Brady, Rodgers. That's it. Everybody else is new. I mean, Patrick Mahomes.
He won a fucking Super Bowl. Right.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes.
You have 4 Super Bowl champions in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, you got dudes that are proven they can do it, and then you got 8 other guys.
But Big Ben has been one other than maybe Tom Brady and maybe Aaron Rodgers who's gone. Like, Big Ben's the only one that's won a Super Bowl on the road through the playoffs.
Right.
I don't even think Tom did that. Maybe he did it when they.
Flacco did it.
Yeah, but he's not in the playoff. Where is he at? He's over in Philly. Where is he at?
I think he's on his couch. More
you got, but I don't think it's going to happen. But wouldn't it be amazing? How would you feel if Big Ben won the Super Bowl this year?
Look, on his the feminist in me would fucking hate it, but like the football player in me would be like, that's all right. Like, like that's kind of cool.
Oh, traded to the Jets. Okay, Flacco's a Jet. Jesus.
Yeah, well, on the bench, which is saying a whole lot. That Super Bowl MVP.
But let me tell you something. You want to say, well, Bell run for 170. Najee Harris looks great. He's a rookie.
He did get injured, though. We're gonna have to see how well.
No. He came back though. He was in the fourth quarter.
And he showed out.
It was his elbow. His elbow.
That fourth quarter. I don't know if y'all win that game.
Very true. Yeah, very true. He caught some big passes for us. And that run, I think the run in overtime to get the first down to get us closer.
Who's the backup? Who was in?
Willie Snead. No, not Willie Snead.
No.
God damn it.
Benny Snell.
And Benny Snell. Why did I say Snead?
Tucker went to Kentucky and beat South Carolina twice on game-ending plays, like last plays of the game. I can't stand that guy. Of course he's a fucking Steeler. And he was sitting there kind of getting like 6-yard chips on us. And I was like, oh, this fucker. He's here again. He's like the candy man. He came back. Golly.
Yeah. I will say Kansas City should win this game 31-17. But
31-17. That is very close to my score. I
but
say 34-24 Chiefs.
oh wow. 2004 Big Ben coming back?
I think you get some help from the running game.
I hope so.
I hope 14 of those points
we need
come from
that.
the running game, 1 Big Ben touchdown, 1 field goal.
Okay.
And you're even up like 10-3 at one point in the first quarter.
Good God, Brandon. Brandon gave me the middle finger right now.
What was your score, Chuck?
I said 27-7 28-17. 31-17.
Locked in. So that covers the playoff matchups. Let's take a quick couple minutes and talk about the teams that are not playing this weekend on a bye. We'll start out with the Packers, which leads us to, if Aaron Rodgers gets to the Super Bowl, is he even going to play in it? This man is causing controversy. This dude goes on the Pat McAfee show, making this man the most popular punter in the history of the fucking sport, and is saying whatever he wants. Holds his foot up on the man's show 2 months ago, shows the world his toe. Says, I don't got COVID toe, I got turf toe. Whatever he's got. He's doing weird stuff. Aaron Rodgers is on he's I'm going to say this, and I'm just going to fucking say it. He's the white AB, bro. And dude just isn't getting called out on his bullshit. At least not loud enough. Because he's out here saying some ridiculous shit mid-season that I don't know if I've ever heard a successful player, a dude who's got a bye in the playoffs, cause more controversy off the field than this guy has.
That's crazy.
It's wild.
That's crazy.
And less to be said about the guy who came out this week and said he wasn't going to vote for him for MVP because he was a piece of shit off the field in his eyes, which I think the best argument I saw against that was, cool, we got the Walter Payton Man of the Year. You don't want to vote for him for that? Cool. That has nothing to do with his football playing on the field. And that's where I was kind of I agree. Don't bring that up. You're not going to take away a dude's MVP vote because you don't like the way he handles himself off the field. That's not really how it's supposed to go, because the MVP is nothing more than a free car and a nice little bonus on your paycheck if you had a contract incentive.
I agree. I think a lot of people, that's how they think. They use their personal bias when voting for awards, and I don't like this guy. Oh, this guy didn't talk to me. He didn't give me the interview, or this and that. And I really think that's shitty.
Nailed it, Matt.
Yeah, very true. I mean, let's be honest. If Lamar was doing this, he would have got murdered.
Get me started.
Yeah, he would have got murdered.
No.
I can't wait to hear what Rodney and Jose say about this tomorrow on their show. I think they're gonna. I want to see what they got to say. Rodney Lamar would never. That's true. What if he did though, Rodney? I want to hear your thoughts though on this tomorrow. It's gonna be very interesting.
And Lamar's been murdered for his anti-vax views, and he's not public about it. He's never said shit about it. He's like, if it was one time and it was my choice, leave me the fuck alone. I'm not going to talk about it. And to a certain extent, I respect it because he made the choice to take the precautions that non-vaccinated players have to take. Your schedule is not the same as everybody else's. You have to show up to work 3 hours before everybody else, get tested, wait for your test results every single day. So these players that are taking these, not defending them, not taking the vaccine, but these players that are choosing to do that are abiding by the rules, except for Aaron Rodgers. And that's where it kind of had the problem, where dude was just going around being frivolous with himself. And when Lamar was sick, he did not come into the building. Even when he was non-COVID sick, dude was chilling on the couch on IG. I know, dude just posted on IG memes all day. That's what Lamar does when he's sick. You can tell when Lamar's not at practice because he's got memes at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah, I mean,
I've heard it's a different world for different people, and the NFL is just unfortunately one of those places where we would think that there
It
would
would
be
be-
some form of, equalism, and there isn't.
Yeah, no, I mean facts. I mean, I've heard people talk about it before. I keep bringing them up. Rodney is one of them. He says, just black quarterbacks are treated differently, and it sucks because you would think, let's talk about their gameplay. Let's talk about, how, and it's not like that, and it sucks. Maybe one day we'll be able to change that. Things will change. I don't know.
Yeah, you want to talk about MVP? Let's talk about a team that was 8-3 with a quarterback and 1-7 without him. No, 1-6 without him. No, 0-6 without him. Like,
you guys lost the last 6.
Yeah,
games.
we lost the last 6 games.
That's crazy. You guys were 8-3.
8-3.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh.
No, it's loud. It's fucking crazy.
But you're 8-3. You literally
literally lose the last 6 games, and people could still somehow find for a reason. Yes, okay, here we fucking go. Black QBs get Greg Roman. Enough said. That's it. That's the end of the conversation. That's the point. That's it. Real football fans fucking get it right there. That's it. That's it right there. Boom. End of story. We can end the show right now. That's it. Black quarterbacks get Greg Roman, and that's it. You can put a apostrophe deed because it's a fucking verb. They get Greg Romaned. Okay? It's unfair because the team around them, Greg Roman does not allow to develop and prosper. It's insane. And yes, Brady, I think, should win the MVP because aside for, I think, touchdown passes, he beats Rodgers in every statistical category. And it's not even close. Not even close.
Yeah. I mean,
lost receivers. That team, if you want to really look at it, it is Brady. Lost Godwin. Didn't have him for most of the year. Didn't have Evans when he had Godwin. Like, there were just all of these fluctuating things going back and forth. He's got Scotty Miller. Are you kidding me? Like, what are we talking about? Like, and then Gronk comes back alive, but he's not Gronk, but he's like Gronk light, on like kind of half of the talent level. But dude's doing his thing. And Aaron Rodgers has the best receiver in the league.
Yeah, and he's doing it at a really, I mean, look at Tom Brady's age. I mean, yeah, I agree with you. I think Brady's going to win it because I think a lot of people are going to use. I mean, coming out and saying you're not going to vote for somebody because of this is one thing, but if you do it and you just do it behind closed doors, that's fine. But when you do it and come out and say it, it is a little bit of an issue.
Like, shout out to the guy that never votes for Georgia to be number 1 in the polls at the beginning of the season. And you get that number 1 next to like UCF or Cincinnati, or some bullshit team gets one number 1 vote at the beginning of the season, or even in the coaches polls or whatever. Like, yeah, dude, speak your heart out there. Like, that's a whole situation. But c'est la vie. We move on to the Titans, who are the most probably up or down possible team in these playoffs. If Derrick Henry comes into these playoffs, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know.
But is he going to be the Derrick Henry that we're used to? That's the thing.
I think so. I don't see a reason to. I don't have a reason to. He has not shown me, aside from getting injured, what he was doing before the injury disproved what everyone thought was possible. Coming off of a 2,000-yard season and performing the way he was through 7 weeks was absolutely unheard of. He was on pace to be he was leading rushers. It was like some absurd shit. It was hundreds of yards. He was ahead of Jonathan Taylor, and Jonathan Taylor's going to walk away with his rushing title. But he was hundreds of yards ahead of him when he got injured. And Jonathan Taylor still needed 2 games to get ahead of Derrick Henry. Like, it was insane stuff. So if this guy comes back and is 85% of what he was, this is a team that can compete for the AFC Championship. And really,
well, they should. They have Julio. Yeah, but they have
Julio Jones and AJ Brown.
There's talking about. Yeah, they absolutely should be in the AFC Championship game. there shouldn't be a reason other than Ryan Tannehill or Derrick Henry's hurt. It's absurd the talent they had, and they should be the favorites. I think what I feel bad about my Steelers is it's kind of lit a fire into Kansas City. So going into that game, they're gonna try to put a stamp on us. I don't know if you've seen the memes. There's like this whole thing of Ben's retirement party in Kansas City this week, so they want to put us out. But I think the Titans, they have the best opportunity. I mean, you have that talent.
Did they use the meme of all the guys carrying the coffin?
No, they didn't do that. They just said it's a retirement party for Ben.
Oh man, the good ones when the guys are carrying the coffin and the coffin drops and the guy comes out and he's alive. I was like, wouldn't that be great if that's Ben? Like he just like pops out like, surprise, motherfuckers.
Yeah, if they get all three of those on the same page, yeah, they're going to be very, very scary in these playoffs. I mean, they should be. I mean, but it's Ryan Tannehill still.
That's my point. Okay, I go back to this. The dude was a wide receiver until his final year of college. Okay, he's been a quarterback for less time than most of these guys have been playing football. Like he is like, I don't get it. I don't get how he still has a job and how there aren't other people in that position doing his job for the Tennessee Titans. Gardner Minshew would be a better quarterback. I think I'm gonna ride that hot take. That's a hot take, and I'm gonna stick to it. Gardner Minshew would be a better starting quarterback for this team because he's more athletic, and guess what? He can still hand the ball off.
What you really need to do with, I mean, and it's crazy.
How many times has Ryan Tannehill been the reason a Julio Jones or AJ Brown play was great? Not more times than AJ Brown or Julio Jones were the reason why the play was great.
Yeah.
Pat Mahomes is a player that has a higher percentage in that. These other quarterbacks we're talking about have a higher percentage of them being the reason why plays are great. I don't think Ryan Tannehill is one of those players. I think his players around him make him great. And that does not win you a very important playoff game.
Yeah, facts.
God, this is so much fun. Can we just sit here and talk? Like, God, it's fucking sports, man. Like, my sports life, I wake up every morning regardless of whether the Ravens win, and I watch Good Morning Football. And
I don't have cable anymore like I used to, so I gotta watch it on YouTube.
I steal my dad's. My dad got pissed off at the Gamecocks one night and kicked me out because it was too late and they were losing too bad. And I was like, but I don't have this channel at my house. And he was like, I don't give a fuck. So my stepmom said, well, hand me your phone. And she logged into Hulu with their Hulu TV. And now we have Hulu TV, just piggybacking off of my dad. So take that, Dad.
That's funny.
So we just right off the Hulu. The Hulu's nice. I like them. They're good. But you know what else is good? The NBA. It's fun.
Sometimes.
It's exciting. Sometimes it's fun. There's always a clip every night. That's the one thing about the NBA. You can always expect something amazing. And I have not even checked the Warriors score. They were losing to the Grizzlies when we sat down. Ooh, the Grizzlies won 116 to 108. Not surprising. The Warriors have not been playing great in the last 4 games, which brings us to Klay Thompson is back. Probably the most hype regular season game in the last 5 years. Maybe.
I mean, the fact that he missed 2 years.
Maybe since Kobe's retirement game.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that he missed 2 years, though, with that bad injury.
ACL injury into an out of season, into an off season Achilles injury.
Not going to happen.
Mark it down now. What do you mean it's not? What do you think is Nuggets Warriors or Nuggets Suns?
No, it's going to be the Lakers and the Warriors.
Are you out of your fucking mind? We've been real this whole time.
Let me ask you a question. Hold on. Let me ask you a question. You're telling me a healthy AD, LeBron James, and a Westbrook won't be able to beat the Suns?
Bro, it
Come
is
on.
still Westbrook. Okay.
But what they're figuring it out. Look at, I understand what you're saying, but if they just, what all Westbrook has to do is go 10, 10, and 10 every night with a healthy AD.
That's all he has to do. Too bad.
That's all he has to do. That's nothing. He's been a triple double machine. He doesn't even have to go 10 and 10, 10, 10. He has to go 10 points, 10 assists. And then if AD's healthy. Now, I will say that AD, it's prevalent on AD being healthy. But you're not going to sit here and convince me that you're going to take the Denver Nuggets over the Lakers.
I would take the Denver Nuggets.
You are smoking crack.
I think the prospects of a healthier Denver Nuggets team are more enticing to my wallet, if I'm going to put this in a money sense, if I'm as a third party person, not a Warriors person, but if I was putting my money on it, the prospects of the people that the Nuggets do not have right now and are coming back to go full speed against what the Lakers have and have coming back. Dude, this Lakers roster is not impressive. And you can't sit here and tell me
it's not impressive, but they're all playoff tested. They're all playoff tested. You're telling me a healthy Ariza, a healthy AD, a healthy Bradley, a healthy Westbrook, LeBron, homeboy who's been shown, I forgot his last name, Malik Monk. I think his name. Malik Monk. They don't have to be superstars because you have three superstars. You have Westbrook, you have AD, you have LeBron.
Okay.
I'm going to present
two scenarios, like real world scenarios. Okay.
Yeah.
LeBron, AD, and Westbrook are not on the court at the same time. Okay. I'm just gonna put this into a real world position.
Okay.
You currently have on the court Malik Monk, Avery Bradley, Dwight Howard, Carmelo Anthony, and Kent Bazemore or Stanley Johnson, maybe Taylor Horton-Tucker. Like, those teams get that five gets thrashed in the playoffs.
Yeah, but we don't have to worry about that. There's always going to be a Westbrook, a AD, or a LeBron. Don't be sending private DMs, Buck. Okay, I don't appreciate it.
Buck wants to get on here, bro.
I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear him. Don't even want to hear him. You go somewhere else with that.
No. Buck and I bring the same smoke. Because
he don't even bring smoke. You know what he brings? He brings hot ice. He doesn't even bring smoke. Okay, real smoke. He brings hot ice. Buck is acting like the Suns are just overpowering good.
No. But I think the difference is, I think this goes into a different variation of what I was talking about with playoff swag.
Let me ask you a question. Last year, had the Lakers not been hurt, do you think the Lakers would have lost to the Suns?
I think it would have been a 7-game series. I think it would have still gone 7 games. And I think it really would have come down to the X factor of Devin Booker being a scorer and having a moment. And I think he would have been more built for that moment. And I think it would have gone back to Phoenix. And it would have been a home field advantage type situation. And it would have been a huge deal.
But you're telling me if they had a healthy AD, and LeBron wasn't healthy either, but a healthy AD, that Phoenix could have stopped him?
I think you can let him get his and stop everybody else. I think that's a game plan, and Monty Williams is a good enough coach that he can.
I think Monty Williams is a great coach. I think he's a great coach. I think he's doing amazing.
I think if you let AD get his and focus on everybody else, you can still win the game. If I only have to focus on one of your guys, I can win.
Okay.
You're bringing you are dependent on all 3 of those guys being fully healthy and ready to go to be competitive. If I'm a coach,
in the playoffs, absolutely,
I know that only one of them is completely healthy, I can stop them. I know that I can.
Well, two of them are healthy.
Right, but are they all going to be healthy at the same time? That's the thing with these.
We won't know until the playoffs come. But
that's been the whole thing with these big threes, whether it be Kyrie and KD and Irving, or whether it be Westbrook and LeBron and AD. It all looks great on paper, but I haven't seen it for longer than X amount of time. I have to see it for extended stretches to see if the team can truly gel, because LeBron can come in and give up his certain roles and excel in others, but I don't know if AD can be that guy. I don't know if AD in a fully healthy team can be a second option. I think he needs.
I don't think he would be a second option. I don't think he needs.
I don't
to be.
think
Almost
Russell
like
Westbrook and LeBron James and AD on the same team allow Anthony Davis to be a true number one option. I think those two guys being on the court detract from him to truly being able to prosper and to be able to be his.
I think Westbrook does. I think LeBron proved he can play.
What you're saying is that those three guys on the court, and I don't think with Westbrook there, AD can be that dude. I think AD is a much better player than LeBron being the other star, not Westbrook. Because Westbrook,
I agree with you there. But if you're going into the playoffs, you have from the All-Star break to the end of the season, and you look at Westbrook and say, look, you're going to be able to get yours when LeBron's on the sideline. That's when you get yours. But when you guys are all on the floor, you like AD has to be the focal point, because name me other than what Jokic, maybe Luka Doncic, and Milwaukee. You have Giannis, who really could stop AD. And if he's healthy, I don't think anybody can.
I think Draymond Green could. Draymond Green would dampen.
Draymond Green could give him problems. Yes, absolutely.
Draymond Green would neutralize the advantage.
But Draymond Green usually guards LeBron. Yeah, but he usually guards LeBron.
That was
so now
when
you're
LeBron
asking,
was 32 years old.
But then you're
asking. That was 4 years ago.
Yeah, 4 years ago, and LeBron still is like what the highest.
And Draymond's not that guy anymore. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if Draymond wants that.
But I'm saying if you're a Lakers team that goes up against the Warriors, you have the firepower to beat the Warriors per se on the inside. You don't have the outside shooting.
I'm putting Klay Thompson on Russell Westbrook. I'm putting Andrew Wiggins on LeBron James.
Oh, LeBron's killing him. LeBron is killing him. You know, LeBron's killing him because
I know, but that's a strategical thing. You have to choose who you let eat on these teams with big names.
Buck, you're out of your mind. I guarantee you the Lakers are going to probably be the fourth. No, they can't be they can't.
I'm putting six. I'm putting the over under at the 5.5 seed.
Okay, I'll go over. We'll look back. We're going to look at this. I think they're going to be the fourth.
I'm putting it at 5.5, and I think they'll be the 5 or the 6. I don't think they'll get up to 4. I think there's just too much firepower. I think the Grizzlies.
Even the statement's bad. If the Lakers make the playoffs, they're going to make the playoffs with LeBron, unless he gets hurt. If they get AD back, they're in 7th right now, and they're three games behind Denver.
Yeah, the fact that Denver is the 6th seed is kind of wild, but I think right now there is a clear definition between the Suns, the Warriors, and everyone else in the rest. That's my tier 1. My tier 2 are the Jazz, the Grizzlies, and the Nuggets.
You're putting the Lakers in a tier 3?
I'm putting Lakers because they're not healthy. Not fully healthy.
They're not healthy. Okay,
Gotta show.
Yeah, I agree. I will give you that.
The Mavericks who aren't fully healthy, the Lakers who aren't fully healthy, the Clippers who are somehow the fucking 8th seed and are like missing Kawhi, a bunch of dudes.
But they're gonna fall. They're gonna fall off. They're gonna
fall. They're gonna fall. They're gonna fall into probably.
Who do you think is a team that will? Who do you think is a team that will make take that 8th, 7th seed if the Lakers are not set?
I think it's gonna be angry Damian Lillard when they don't move CJ McCollum. And he's going to say, fuck it. Let's go through one last ride. If I'm going to have to go through this play-in tournament to play the Suns, fuck it, I'll do it. And I think the Timberwolves are going to fall and the Spurs are going to rise. I see Spurs as my risers out of the teams that are currently out of the play-in tournament. And I see the Timberwolves as a team that will fall out of the play-in tournament.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. What's going on with Zion Williams, man? Like he just
that's my boy. That's my boy.
Disappeared? He just disappeared?
I
haven't been following him.
He's fat.
I don't know.
2, he runs like a fat velociraptor, which is kind of like I don't understand. Like he like prances. You ever like fake skipped? Like you're like, yay, yay.
I try
Like,
not to.
That's
I
how
try.
he
It looks
runs.
bad.
Yeah. Like it just doesn't
He
look
likes
good.
to eat.
He likes to eat. Like, look, he moved down to New Orleans. Like they take care of him.
They got some bomb. They got some bomb
They
seafood
got
and
the
gumbo
bomb.
down there.
Bro, I was in New Orleans the week before COVID shut the world down. I was at the last Pelicans home game. Saw Zion live, and I was like, holy shit, this guy's going to be amazing. And ever since that day, it's just like been the Fire Nation attacked and everything's terrible for him. And life just
The
is
Fire
not
Nation
great.
attack. That's so amazing.
It's terrible. Like it just is not great for him. Like I'm a massive Duke basketball fan. So I follow my boys like through and through. I don't root for the Knicks. I root for RJ Barrett. I don't root for the Hawks. I root for Cam Reddish. Like I got like if you win to Duke, I will root for your success. Zion pains me because he brought me so much fun, like just so much positivity when he was at Duke. And he's such a good dude.
Yeah.
He's just a good person. There doesn't seem to be the only negative thing that came out was when he might have been involved in some payments while he was at school. But guess what? That shit's legal now. So shut the fuck up. Like,
Yeah.
like it doesn't matter.
But it's just crazy that the Pelicans they're like, all right, we're gonna go in this direction. They trade AD, and they're like, yeah, now we're gonna have Zion, and then there's Zion just like he played, and you were like, all right, this is the future, and now he's like just disappeared. And
I'm
where
sorry.
is he?
John Morant not totally being like, should have picked me, bitches. Like John Morant is the most exciting player under 21 in the NBA, without question. He is the closest thing I've seen, like at least at this age, to a raw Michael Jordan. Like the dude is like his. I'm not just saying this because the guy's from South Carolina and I'll rep him till the day I die. But like he's his ceiling grows by the day. Like he was not a great 3-point shooter in his first 2 seasons. He's become a much better 3-point shooter. He's gone up almost 8% in his 3-point percentage this year over last year. That's huge for a slashing, dunking guard. Like that was like the guy went up for a dunk tonight. It was like 2 hours ago. He like was pointing at the rim from half court. He's a cocky ass dude. And that's something that like the NBA should be very happy to have, but they thought they were going to have 2 of them. Thought it was going to be Zion and Ja. And that hasn't been the case. And arguably, RJ Barrett has been a more exciting player than Zion has been. Outplayed his college roommate. Outplayed his college best friend so far. Granted, Zion's played a fraction of the games that RJ's played.
But he's doing it, and he's doing it in New York, right?
And he's doing it in New York, doing it in Madison, doing it in MSG.
That's big. That's big for the NBA because New York
big
hasn't.
Boy basketball. You ain't doing that shit in the Smoothie King Center across from the damn Mercedes-Benz Arena for the Superdome. Like that shit don't work. Like I've been in that arena. Those seats have been there since it was built. I was sitting in seats that literally looked like the first stadium that was there when the New Orleans Jazz played. Like those seats were bad. And then you go into MSG and it's like, this is Mecca basketball. Like this is some real shit. Like, come on. Like this is just unreal for us to be able to like think that Zion was this so overly just pushed player and now he's here. Nowhere to be found. And the Pelicans have wasted 4 years of an organization. I don't know what's next for them. Brandon Ingram's going to walk. There's no way Brandon Ingram like doesn't find a way to get out of this team. Because we are wasting a talent. And you know this as a Lakers fan. There are flashes in his game where if he's the number 2 guy on a team, he can fucking eat.
Yeah, absolutely.
He cannot be the number 1 option, but he damn sure can be the number 2 option on the team. I see the Wizards paying him way too much money.
Really?
The team like the Wizards. The Wizards, maybe the Blazers. Maybe.
I was gonna say the Blazers actually. Yeah. I think yeah.
Hey, look at us.
Right? Look at us. Who would have thought? Not me. Yeah, I mean, let's see what happens. But to see Klay Thompson come back from that injury was awesome. See him dunk on his first, to go for that dunk was absolutely crazy. 17 points. I don't know what he did tonight. I didn't look at his stat line
Let's
tonight.
check the stat line for tonight. Warriors box score. We have the box score here, and Klay Thompson had
14 points.
14 points.
He shot a lot. 13 shots. Good lord.
Hey, he
Curry.
was plus 17. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Plus 17.
Curry went 8 for 21. Good lord.
Still got 27 points though. 27
Yeah,
points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, triple double for Steph Curry tonight in a loss. I don't know how many times that's happened in his life.
Yeah,
I'd say less than 10.
It's still gonna be a scary. It's still gonna be a scary team. Good God, Iguodala had 0 points.
Dude, he has been cold. Like he was jacking up threes in the game Sunday night against the Cavs, and it was just like it was not pretty, at all. Everyone was looking around like, is this Iggy? Like the hairline's gone, the shot's gone, it's all gone.
You start to age in the NBA, it starts to show.
The guy's going to be the playoff X factor for 2 playoff X factors for me for this Warriors team. For this team, they need to step up. Otto Porter Jr. and Gary Payton II will be huge playoff contributors. They will have Game 3, Game 4 moments.
I think it was Gary Payton the second. Did you see his dad quote? He's like, I don't know where he got the
hops from. It must be his mom. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's great. And I love that he's taken on the moniker of the young glove, which I think is like, it's so smooth. It's so smooth. It just rolls off the tongue. Like mini glove was so shitty. It sounds like some terrible like Xbox name, but the young glove. Like,
it makes a little bit more sense.
A little more sense. Kind of rolls off the tongue a little bit better. This Warriors team is exciting. Jordan Poole constantly getting in double figures every night in his 3rd season in the league. I mean, or 2nd season in the league. It's absolutely incredible. Just too much fun.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see.
The Warriors fan again. It was nice. It was like 2 seasons of hell. I watched like 85% of the games over the last 2 years. It wasn't fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting second half of the season. You want to see what the Lakers can do. Obviously, Golden State, now that they got back Klay Thompson, Phoenix, see what they do. You were talking about Denver's hurt, so we're going to see what Denver can do. Do we know if Kawhi is coming back for the Clippers? We don't know. So it's going to be a venture. And in the East, I mean, Chicago. Who would have thought? I didn't.
The Bulls are back.
Yeah, I didn't.
DeMar DeRozan, current MVP,
possibly
leading candidate. I think
well, Curry and him.
Curry, I think Curry and DeRozan. I would. I don't know why. I just think that'd be a very
unless LeBron just goes on a crazy tear the second half.
But even then, it's not gonna be before the All-Star break. So if it's Curry and DeRozan picking the 2 teams, I think that'd be pretty.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
That'd be really fun. I don't know why. Like 2 really soft-spoken guys, like not like LeBron trying to be cheeky with Giannis, like trying to be whatever tongue in cheek. I just think Curry and DeRozan would be 2 dudes in their 30s, and you're like, hey, man, look at us being the top 2 vote getters. Shout out to Klay Thompson being the 4th highest vote getter in the Western Conference, and he's only played 2 games.
Isn't like Irving like was winning in some kind of votes or something like
that? Kyrie was competing with the guards in the East for MVP votes or for All-Star votes. It was very similar.
Stupid. So dumb.
Very, very similar stuff. But, sir, before we end the show, we're going to take it back. We're going to do something here every week where we kind of take it back, reminisce, and give some of our favorite moments or just list a little top 3 of whatever the week brings upon. And this week was the national championship game in college football, like we talked about before. We've been going for a while. let's give our favorite moment. Just one moment. Doesn't have to be an all-time defining play. Could just be your favorite moment from a college football championship game that made you go, wow.
Okay. When Boise State beat Oklahoma.
Oh,
When Boise State beat Oklahoma on 2 trick plays, the hook and ladder and the Statue of Liberty.
that was pretty crazy.
And that was when people were calling for the playoffs because Boise State, I think, was undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, well, Boise State won't be able to hang with the big boys. So they put them in the Fiesta Bowl against Oklahoma. And Oklahoma, I mean, they had Adrian Peterson then. And, you know, it was a good game.
And Dallas Cowboys offensive coordinator Kellen Moore at quarterback for Boise State.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Boise State, like, he throws a pick, and like Oklahoma, I think it takes it back for a touchdown. So you're like, okay, it's probably over. It was a good ride, Boise. Thanks for
and then he
showing
like
up.
walked down the field. Right? He like straight walks down the field on him, and it's like nothing.
Yeah, and then they just the hook and ladder play and the Statue of Liberty play.
Oh, no. That game was Jared Zabransky, who was on the cover of NCAA Football 2008.
Yeah, because he throws. I'm sorry. Yes, he throws the interception. Oklahoma takes us back for a touchdown, and you think the game's over. And then he throws the hook and ladder. I think it was on a 4th and something, and they score. And then they do the Statue of Liberty play to win the game, going for 2, and end the game and beat Oklahoma.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite moments. Was Jared Zabransky. It was NCAA 2008. Yeah. Okay. So we've got our history lesson straight. My favorite moment, probably one that is not going to be one that people think of. It's very sentimental to me. When Jameis Winston throws a game-winning touchdown pass to Kelvin Benjamin in the final seconds in the 4th quarter against Alabama, I'm pretty sure, wasn't it? Like FSU national title game against Alabama. Like FSU. I called Jameis Winston winning the Heisman in game 1 of that season as a freshman when he went off against Penn State. And this guy came through and won me so much money my sophomore year of college. I was eating off of it for weeks for the Heisman bet that I put down. And this dude came in and not only won the Heisman, he won the fucking national championship. And it was just unbelievable stuff to see a guy come from Nowheresville and lead his team to the title. I thought that was just insane shit. Where is he now? But that's college football, because that's the story of college football. It's these players like Jared Zabransky, like Jameis Winston, that have legacies in college football. We're talking about college football. What you do in the pros is a different thing. But college football, these legacies live forever. What Stetson Bennett did last night will live in the annals of college football history forever. It was one of the most boring games ever until. And you'll tell the story forever of Stetson Bennett coming in, fumbling the ball, going back, getting a touchdown, all this stuff. It was just incredible. And that's what college football to me is all about, is like the moments and the opportunities for dudes who never have a moment again to come out and leave their mark. It's guys like Reggie Bush, who are going to be known as a college football player, maybe more so for what he was known for off the field. But for me, none of that fucking matters because it's legal now, so I can remember what Reggie Bush did on the football field as a human being, as a player, and it was amazing.
Off topic, have they given him back his Heisman?
No, and they won't.
Bastards. I mean, just give him back his damn Heisman. He earned it. It'd be different if it was some bigger scandal.
Chris Webber and the Fab Five their banners back. Give everyone who ever got wronged because of some rich-ass old white man trying to make a team better, give them their titles back.
Is Chris Webber and Jalen Rose even talking?
I believe they have talked.
I think I remember last time Jalen Rose talking about, but I haven't seen anything yet.
I think it was like last year. I think it was something about it being.
I
like
did not know that freaking who's the guy? Who's the GM for the Lakers right now?
Kupcha?
Oh my God, it was Kobe's agent. Oh my God,
Rob Pelinka.
Rob Pelinka was on that team.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That's crazy. Rob Pelinka was on that team. That is nuts.
Dude, he's so ugly.
Well, look at Mitch Kupchak. Mitch Kupchak was ugly too when he played for the Lakers.
True.
Yeah, Pelinka. I couldn't think of the name for some reason.
True. Well, those were our moments. They're not the ones you thought of. They're out of the box. And that's what this show is. It's not what you expect. We give you the stuff that you don't find on ESPN. We bring up the things that are just in our heads. And this is stuff you want to hear. That's why you're here. Thank you for everyone that was hanging out in the chat. Rodney, Brandon, everyone. Matt for hanging out for a little while. Thank you guys so much. Suge, as we wrap up Real Sports, where can the fine folks of the internet find you?
Well, of course, you can find me at SugeKnight323 on TikTok and Twitter. That's where I be at most of the times. You can find me on here every Tuesday now with you talking sports. That's going to be our thing. Love talking sports with you. And yeah, just make sure to follow me on Twitter so you know when we're going live. Follow me on TikTok. I do stupid videos over there when I have an opportunity. And once again, Colin, thanks for having me on, man. Can't wait to continue doing this with you. It's going to be awesome. Love talking sports with you. You got a lot of sports knowledge. I have dumb takes, as people will say in the chat, but that's okay. I love it. Yeah, but you can find me there. And just make sure to follow everything on WATREELENTERTAINMENT. I think you'll plug a couple things, but make sure to follow our Twitter, follow the channel. We have a lot of things going on here and a lot of big things coming up. So make sure you follow all that stuff.
That's right. Middle of the week is my time on this channel, folks, because tonight you can find me here and Tuesdays on Real Sports. And then Wednesdays, for the duration of whenever there are Star Wars shows coming out, you can find me on Saber Reels with great Toby himself and Matt, whatever he decides to show up to a show on his own network. And we can be able to talk some Star Wars. We can come on down and talk on some Boba Fett, because that shit is crazy. Oh, wait, are you guys telling me I gotta stay up another 3.5 hours to watch Boba Fett? Guys? Oh, wait, my girlfriend's not here. There's nobody to tell me what to do. I can do whatever the fuck I want. We're gonna watch some Boba Fett at 3 o'clock.
There you go.
You can find me there on Saber Reels. You know, you want to follow some College of Charleston sports accounts, go follow College of Charleston baseball, College of Charleston volleyball, where you can see all of my content over there, you know, supplying all the peeps. Doing some stuff for some local lacrosse. If you guys need me to, shoot some sporting events, hit me up down below. I'm here. I'm your guy. This has been Real Sports. I'm Colin. That's Suge. See you next time, folks. We'll see you next time, folks. Keep it real.